Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished panelists, esteemed discussants, talented artists, performers, and our most wonderful audience, a very warm and hearty welcome to the Listener Nagaland, a festival of orality. I am absolutely thrilled to be your MC today as we gather to celebrate the rich tapestry of oral traditions and storytelling that have been a cornerstone of the Northeast culture for centuries. We are honored to have with us a diverse and accomplished group of individuals who have traveled near and far to be part of this magnificent event. Today, we come together to pay tribute to the power of words and the art of storytelling. The Northeast, with its enchanting landscapes and vibrant communities, has a unique treasure trove of stories, songs, and narratives to share with the world. It is a privilege to have you all here, and your presence truly enhances the significance of this occasion. Our panelists and discussants, each experts in their own respective fields, will guide us through an enlightening journey of conversation and discourse. Our talented artists and performers will transport us to a world of wonder with their presentations. And our audience, both in person and those joining us virtually, you are the heartbeat of this festival. Your enthusiasm and participation makes this event all the more special. We are deeply thankful to those who have made long journeys to be here, as it reflects the dedication and commitment we all share in preserving and celebrating our cultural heritage. Your presence is a testament to the importance of the Listener Nagaland. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us embark on this incredible journey of orality where words come alive and stories resonate in the air. May this festival be a vibrant tapestry of voices and stories, a celebration of our shared heritage, and a testament to the power of storytelling. Welcome one and all to the Listener Nagaland, a festival of orality. Let the festivities begin. As we move forward to the first order of the program, I would like to introduce L. Somi Roy. L. Somi Roy is the author of And That Is Why, Manipuri Myths Retold, and its companion book with co-authors Dr. Hindustani Thangjam, The Forthcoming Feathers, Fools and Farts, Manipuri Folk Tales Retold. He is a cultural conservationist and curator and the founder and chair of IMASI, the Maharaj Kumari Binodini Devi Foundation in Imphal, Manipur. I would like to invite Mr. Somi Roy, IMASI Foundation, to give the welcome address.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. We are gathered to present the second edition of this literature festival called The Listener. I'm so grateful to one and all for being here today, and I will leave the thank you list for our wonderful festival director, Santila Younger, to round off the evening. But for now, the listener is called the listener because oral literature has to be heard. It cannot be read. When we came up with this idea of the literature festival for the Northeast, we began to think at IMASI Foundation what kind of literature would be appropriate to the northeast of India. We are largely a region of unwritten literatures, of literatures that are sung, that are recited, that are chanted. Most of our scripts in the Tibeto-Burman language, the family, are not from northeast India. In fact, there are very few scripts in the Tibeto-Burman family of languages. My friend Patrick McCormick, a linguist that maybe Gilvan knows, from Montreal, we counted once, 8, maybe 9, out of like 450 languages. We are largely an unwritten language and literature tradition. Therefore, a festival for the northeast of India, we thought, should be, could be, oral and not written. We played with many tags as we conceptualized this festival. A literature festival without books was one tag we came up with. Frustrated copywriter that I am. We said, literature heard, not read. We also talked about a literature for the Northeast, about the Northeast, in the Northeast, by the Northeast. It's a literature festival for us, by us. So it is very important to realize that sometimes one does not know what one is doing until you start doing it. I mean, for me, that happens more often than I care to admit. Okay, so we wrote up some concept notes and proposals and passed it around. One of my earliest collaborators was Santila. We are talking about 7 years ago when we started talking about the listener. What would a literature festival for the Northeast look like? We don't publish that many books. Most of our languages don't even have scripts. So what should we do? But as we batted around this idea, it became very important for us to look at our storytelling, because it is our stories that make us who we are. It is our language that offers a clue to what our worldview is like, which is the reason why there are many languages that have words and expressions that cannot be translated into other languages. That's because the power of thinking is not always universal. It's specific to many different languages and cultures. We had no idea it was going to be the decade of indigenous languages when we started this. I had no idea what I was doing or what we were doing. We didn't even talk about this until it would bear me out, you know. But sometimes it's other people who tell us what we are doing, and then the light comes on, the coin drops. And so it was my friend Ezekiel Delamini of UNESCO. I'm sorry that he cannot be here with us at this festival because he is organizing a workshop in Bangalore on these very same dates. But Ezekiel said to me, after coming to the listener in Impal, he said, the listener is more than just a literature festival. It is a movement. Suddenly, I understood what we were trying to do. We want to champion, we want to valorize, we want to claim, demand, respect. Just because a language does not have a script does not mean that it is inferior. We traditionally look down, conventionally we look down on languages that do not have a script. So what? We have a worldview. That's the most important thing. Which brings me to technology, because the tag of our festival is literature, performed literature, therefore performances, and technology. Why technology? Because script is a technology. Writing systems is a technology. At the last festival in Imphal, we presented radio, a format in which we present oral literature. We did a program on audiobooks, the new digital form. So when we have digital technology, do we really need a script after all? With this, thank you again. I leave you these thoughts and let us listen to our literatures together, listen to the connectedness of our roots in this region, and we welcome you to this you can't say really very unique, to this unique literature festival without books. Thank you.
Thank you, Somi. An event such as this needs to begin with a blessing. Our Ao Naga elders will be conducting the invocation chants with a spear. This act is called the Nalaksa. The Nalaksa invocation chants conducted by our Ao Naga elders using a spear signifies a profound tradition. The spear pointing towards the heaven and earth serves as a solemn oath before the god, reflecting the sacred significance of both the dao and spear in Naga custom and the way decisions were made in the Ao village system of governance. Therefore, whatever decision is made today with a spear in hand shall be treated as an oath before God. We are deeply honored and cordially invite our Ao Naga elders Guru Sangyuk Sang and Guru Chubatuzung to join us on stage and share their sacred invocation, the Nilaksa, with our esteemed audience.
Respected Chairperson, Madam, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to speak in our own Ao dialect. Iba nilasuya naganungar awardam iba yamyayagi iba nilasunong chimbir. Iba chumbiba ya tma dibalir kijiyo iba neya nu yagi anong dogader nela lagi alisongader da sonamda sonam nonge tumba misha uchi chumbiza iba je swaliba non chimbaro anoje kanne iba nalasuno Iba pinjolong uta zega pelaba cembede. Alimatusan balala nongai. Silbaler tham. Iba 로마치 이비 긴노 소발레바 근데면에 소발레바 운수올람 소발레바 뜨거운 마마를 서버 소발레바 자야자고 서버를 비샤 준비하고 우시 Why did this do not want Alimay wa Nayonji Ibana Yambajaki Tenation the Malertam King Ganaway King Gadi King Ganaway King Gadi Subaiba Ngadabo Zimrangana Iba Mana Bishiba Jama Alimayo Tulojamalitin Tulojamaliba Jama Yumjim Jolitin Why by this Riagi Yazro Lipinora Wali make a Mawuna Sabato Tagadumbor Iba Ajayana Palava Alimemit Doctor Dajunchi Tanyame Listener Festival Law Huwa kinyume ha Huwa istenong isa Huwa tulanong isa Sheleng maganda ralir Asano ataki Tato ni banyo Tigam tibar Iba pinjoya Takong mapanoodin na tumagagya sa mga sarap. Ibang listener ya, tormentally wazamay siya. Hok na le. Isuli pistol na mo ordon. Sabi ba nila?
Check. Okay. Join us in a truly unique cultural celebration with listener Nagaland's inaugural song, specially composed for this event by Lima Wabang Younger, to be performed in both Ao and Yimkyung dialects. We invite Tiamarin and his talented group to grace the stage and enchant us with this magnificent cross-cultural musical tribute.
Miserable, la la la, makalangde.
This was spoken by your father. This
Sure, yes. Thank you for the beautiful performance, Tiamarin and group. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward in our program, it is our privilege to extend a heartfelt gratitude and recognition to individuals whose contributions have been instrumental. In this spirit of appreciation and honor, we have Mr. T.N. Manin, Advisor and MLA of Law and Justice and Land and Revenue Department, stepping forward to present tokens of felicitation to Dr. Jilvan. We kindly request Mr. Manan and Dr. Jilvan to kindly come up on stage. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our program continues with a significant moment as we prepare for INTAC's book release by Professor Dr. Jilvan. We invite you to join us in this enlightening session that promises to further enrich our cultural tapestry. Could we have the book presented? Yes, thank you. So this book is written in 4 languages, 4 dialects. It is in Puchuri, Ao, and Lotha, and Tenyide. Thank you so much. Our journey through this remarkable event continues with great anticipation. We are now about to embark on the launch of the Northeast India Indigenous Peoples Archive, also known as NIPA, a significant milestone in preserving our rich heritage. It is our distinct pleasure to welcome Dr. Hewasa L. King, Principal of Tetso College, and Dr. Jilvan as they lead us into the Digital Archive's inauguration, a testament to our commitment to safeguarding the cultural legacy of the Northeast.
A respected chairperson, our special guest of honor, Srimati Lily Pandya, the Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Jilvan Miller de Oliveira, Head of the UNESCO Chair in Language Policies for Multilingualism, Srimati Santila T. Younger, Festival Director and State Convener in Nagaland, our IMASI founder and chairman, Sri L. Somi Roy, delegates, distinguished guests, invitees, staff, and students who are present here this evening. On behalf of the Tetso College community, I would like to warmly welcome you all to the Tetso College campus. We are so honored to be the venue for the Listener Festival and thank Ma'am Santila for enabling us to host you this evening. Please feel completely at home on the campus for the next few days of the festival and make it your own. We hope everyone has a productive and enjoyable festival. Before I move into the launch, Tetso College would quickly like to felicitate some special guests present here this evening. And for this, I would like to call upon our director, Mr. Kulo Lorin, to kindly felicitate the guests. Up here would be good. Our special guest of honor, Srimati Lili Pandya, the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. All right, I'll move on to the next. Our special keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Jilvan Miller de Oliveira, Head of the UNESCO Church in Language Policies for Multilingualism. Thank you. Srimati Santila T. Younger, our Festival Director and State Convener in Nagaland. Thank you, ma'am. IMASI founder and chairman, Mr. Sri L. Somi Roy. Thank you, everyone. Moving on this evening, it gives me immense pleasure to take this opportunity to introduce you to the launch of a project that was formally initiated at the start of this year in Tetso College. This project is known as the Northeast India Indigenous Peoples Archive, NIPA in short. NIPA is a non-profit, open-access online repository and community initiative dedicated to preserving the rich cultural heritage of the indigenous peoples of Northeast India. With the tribal cultures of the Northeast so strongly rooted in orality, over the years, Tetso College had earlier been making attempts to capture narratives, songs, memories, and beliefs of the tribal communities, information that is only known to our elders and community members. NIPA arose out of the visible lack of availability of material and readily available knowledge for researchers, scholars, or just anyone wanting to know or see more about the tribes of Northeast India. Some of the earlier attempts done by the college worked, while some could not be saved. But all of these attempts gradually led us to form a community engaged in exploring ways to preserve the region's culture, heritage, and language, which is one of the reasons that today, the 2nd of November, we choose to take it beyond the Tetso College community into the public domain. NIPA invites everyone to contribute to this project by submitting audios, visuals, or videos. I invite you all to be a part of this mission to safeguard Indigenous knowledge, language, and learning to ensure that these vital aspects of heritage are not lost to the passage of time. As we launch this archive today, we are aware that the NIPA concept may not be the first of its kind, but what NIPA is that it is a sincere and genuine attempt to provide reliable cultural and historical content of Northeast India to the global audience through a sustainable community of engaged thinkers. That is the vision of NIPA. We also hope it will be able to aid research scholars in their work and promote further research studies from the data available on the site. I would now like to call upon Dr. Wicham Dimbo, the convener of the NIPA project, to join me on stage to help me present NIPA.
Okay, a very good evening to everyone. The last night I told the principal, Dr. Hewasa, to finish everything by her on the stage, but she wanted me to be here as I'm here now. So I thank you for your kind courtesy. So with the fast disappearing pace of our language, where every single knowledge of our way of life is embedded, this work is so dear to me, and when I joined here, for the principal, this is more dearly, more emotionally attached to these things. So with whatever resources we can put together, we made what we are going to see today. So with the support of many faculties, department heads, and our team member like Dr. Opang Inla, Chukumla, and Imla, and Toka, and our main computer guy, Avigan. We're going to see what we're going to see now. And also, I want to thank all the depositors, already deposited, like 45. So wonderful, you are exempt to our project, and also exempt to our community. Your language will be safe and will be like resonating, reverberating forever because of what you did today. So thank you.
With that, we would like to call upon Dr. Jilla to kindly come and pronounce the launch.
In an era where cultural heritage is passing away from sight, we present to you the Northeast India Indigenous Peoples Archive, with its goal in preserving and documenting the diverse global cultures which you can access and explore at ease. NIPA is designed in a way that it provides an ultra-careful guide directing those individuals who wish to treasure the rich intangible heritage. Credited with notable representatives dedicated and thriving toward the preservation of the unique identities and cultural tradition of one and all. NIPA, an initiative of Tetso College. Although it's not mentioned in the program, we have an esteemed guest, Madam Athel Lotha, IAS Commissioner and Secretary, Department of Arts and Culture. We would like to invite her on stage to share a few words with us.
Miss Attila, MC of this program, Professor Dr. Jilvan Muller de Oliveira, who is the keynote speaker for this evening, Head UNESCO Chair on Language Policies and for Multilingualism, Sir Tien Manan, IS retired, Honorable MLA and Advisor, Law and Justice and Land Revenue, Government of Nagaland, and his lady wife, Ma'am Thangi Manan, IS retired, resource persons, the organizers of the prolific event, and all the participants and all the invitees. On behalf of the Department of Art and Culture, Nagaland, I would like to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to Festival of Orality, the Listener Nagaland, a capacity building workshop under the initiative of Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and organized at Tetso College, Dimapur. The importance of intangible cultural heritage as a mainspring of cultural diversity and a guarantee of sustainable development cannot be ignored. Intangible cultural heritage is manifested inter alia in multiple domains, including oral tradition and expression, performing arts, social practice like rituals and festivals, knowledge and practices concerning nature and traditional crafts making. The state of Nagaland, along with its sister states of the Northeast India, are host and inheritors of unique traditions which provide the historical frame with which the people can connect, identify with, and around which the sense of peoplehood and the historicity of their cultural experiences are constructed and anchored. The process of globalization and social transformation alongside the conditions they create give rise to grave threats of transformation alongside the conditions they create. It rise to grave threats of deterioration, disappearance, and destruction of the intangible cultural heritage, in particular, owing to a lack of resources for safeguarding such heritage. Communities, in particular, indigenous community, groups and individuals play an important role in the protection, safeguarding, maintenance, and recreation of the intangible cultural heritage, thus helping to enrich culture, diversity, and human creativity. This noble initiative of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, is in organizing Ban India capacity building, workshops for raising awareness and engagement in intangible cultural heritage, involving multiple stakeholders, comes as a resolute step and at a crucial moment when culture preservation cannot be understated. It is my sincere hope that these workshops will plant the much needed seeds in engendering each one of us the significance and holistic maintenance of the intangible cultural heritage in such modern times. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We are honored to have with us Mr. Anish Ranjan, Director of Ministry of Culture, and we invite him on stage to be felicitated. Mr. Anish Ranjan. Is Mr. Ranjan here? Ranjan. I believe he's not here with us at the moment. So we will move on to the next order of the program. Professor Dr. Gilvan Oliveira, is an associate professor at the Federal University of Santa Catarina and head of the UNESCO Chair in Language Policies for Multilingualism, based at UFSC, which involves 31 universities in 16 countries. He was the director of the Institute for Research and Development in Language Policy in Florianópolis, Brazil, and executive director of the International Institute of the Portuguese Language of the Community of the Portuguese Language Countries in Cape Verde, developing projects such as the Common Orthographic Vocabulary of Portuguese, associated with the 1990 Portuguese Orthographic Agreement and the Portuguese as the Foreign Language Teacher Portal. His publications focus on language policies, particularly multilingualism and minority languages, and the social history of languages. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Gilvan Oliveira to address his keynote speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure and an honor to be in Nagaland for the first time. I would like to congratulate the organizers of this event, especially in the person of Somi Roy and Mrs. Younger. And of course, for us linguists, it's very important and very pleasant to be in multilingual countries and multilingual situations like Nagaland. I thank you very much for the invitation. Our UNESCO Chair on Language Policies for Multilingualism has now a few years of work. As said, 31 universities in 17 countries, working in 11 different languages. That's much if we think that only 70 languages are used in the world for higher education. Less than 1% of the languages are used for higher education. So this hierarchical situation of languages is always in our focus of research. Our chair connected multilingualism in languages with questions that are important for the societies today. I mentioned internationalization, intercultural mediation, translation and accessibility, language education, economic and linguistic rights, information and communication technologies, borders, migrations, diasporas, and of course, multilingual literatures, topic that we would like to develop today. My university is in South Brazil. We live on an island in South Atlantic. It's a university with 43,000 students that produces 600 PhD theses a year. Not all in multilingualism as we would desire, but of course it's a contribution for science. I would like to begin with a word, the word Kelkai. Kelkai is a word of the Quechua language. The Quechua language was and is a very important language spoken by around 6 million people in Peru, Bolivia, It was the main language of the Inca Empire before the arrival of Spaniards. And this word it's said to have been to draw or to make signs. The conquistadores recognized the meaning and changed the meaning and began to use the word for writing in alphabetic sense. If we jump from Peru to Mexico, much more to the north, we find this kind of book. This book has 39 pages. It is 11 meters long, and it describes divinatory rituals that mobilize hundreds of people at once. So, a small book, but a very important orality background that distribute roles, dances, singing, and other cultural activities, and organize all these groups that are participating in the rituals. From drawing to writing, the verbal story only serves as a metaphor for deeper changes. Just as an old meaning was obscured by a new meaning, Indian, it means indigenous oral culture, was also obscured by the use of European writings. Their diverse expression and memory techniques are now banished from public consciousness. The situation of those who cannot write is now generally understood as one of analphabetismo or illiteracy. So millions of people are illiterate because of the technology of writing and because of the techniques of colonialism on the other side. That's why we brought the words of our friend and colleague Lucila Otavalo, writer from Ecuador, poet in Quechua and Spanish, that mention how oral literature has a secondary place, a secondary role in dominant culture. Although the abundant creative and sensitive imagination that has allowed the physical and cultural survival of these collectivities for so many centuries and today. We discussed some of these topics in Manipur in the first version, the first edition of this conference, and the words from Lucila Otavalo were there. She mentioned, of course, the colonial destruction of civilizations like the Inca and Aztecas. Each of them could have become what India represents today in terms of self-understanding and self-management of its cultural and literary values. They cannot, because the indigenous population of Mexico or Peru continues to be in a position where they don't have these possibilities. Centuries of silence and colonial appropriation of knowledge produced in the context of the Latin American continent produced invisibility and appropriation of this knowledge produced in indigenous languages. But we could ask, in contrast to the field of writing, where do you see orality? What is the place of orality and oral knowledge for the disciplines in our society that take care of these questions? Let's take three possibilities: folklore, anthropology, and intangible cultural heritage. Folklore. Folklore, as you know, is an expression of the 19th century romantic nationalism. What was the importance of folklore? Popular culture was a window into the past of a people, contrasting always with erudite culture, with the true artists of the dominant cultures. The idea of documenting cultural practice before it disappeared embedded the idea of the inevitability of its disappearance as an archaism. So folklore was interested in documenting the past. in finding in the past the connections of a people to their roots, to the nobilization of the history of a people through the popular roots of culture. Anthropology was born as a colonial management technique, restricted to the colony. There was no anthropology in the metropolis. So it had a complementary distribution to folklore. Folklore was applied to the popular classes of the colonial powers, and anthropology was applied in the colonies. It aims at a scientific description of human cultures as a whole and invested heavily in more formalizable relationships characteristic of sciences, such as kinship relationships, for example. Theoretical interests are very strong. That's why we can speak from functional anthropology, we can speak from structuralist anthropology, even a Marxist anthropology in some cases. And what about intangible cultural heritage? ICH aims to change the effective place of cultural products and producers. ICH, intangible cultural heritage, is not interested in the past, it's interested in the future. It's not interested in describing only culture. It's interested in changing the place of culture and bringing diverse kinds of equality to the discussion of culture. So, of course, I'm not making fully justice to folklore and anthropology. I'm making a simplification, just to contrast what is the interest for the past, what is interest for the present, and what is interest for the future. Of course, folklore and anthropology are two dialogue partners of ICH, the first dialogue partners that I would like to mention. Let's see what are the other partners of this area we are calling intangible cultural heritage. One second characteristic of ICH is its dynamicity. It's dynamic, constantly changing, contrasting with a more perennial and static character of material cultural heritage. So, if we think in the ground concepts of heritage, we must go back more than 250 years in the past, to the moment of creation, for example, of the British Museum in the middle of 18th century, one of the first that opened its collections to the public and preserve a wide range of cultural artifacts. More important even is the French Commission for Historical Monuments, created during the French Revolution, that was a precursor to modern policies for the preservation and conservation of cultural heritage. Many of the concepts that you use in ICH come from this material heritage. So that would be the second partner, dialogue partner from ICH, the long history of considering buildings, bridges, forts, and other milestones of human memory and history as important an element of conservation. For safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage, we must mention the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage to 2003. But of course, it was already a product of many practices, many experiences that the member states of UNESCO had had. For example, India. India began to consider heritage few years after independence. Since the 50s, India has many programs for heritage. So I would mention this convention as a product of the effort, of the national effort of countries to organize the field, to develop concepts, to bring innovation, and to make this field wider and wider every decade. Intangible cultural heritage is and brings and forms identity, recognizing, safeguarding, and celebrating cultural practices, traditions, knowledge, and skills that are passed down from generation to generation and are considered vital to the cultural identity of communities and societies. But what is the difference between culture and identity? We could say that cultures are the beliefs, the interactions, the organizations of the way of life of peoples. For identity, people take some elements of cultures, more elements or less elements, or only one element. Sometimes identity is only religion. Sometimes identity can be only language. Sometimes identity is exactly what our neighbor is not. Is the difference to our neighbor, the contrast to the other, the establishment of borders between us and the others. One important characteristic of intangible cultural heritage is it does not belong only for the people that produce this cultural heritage. It belongs to everyone. It belongs to the nation. It belongs to the world. It has a universal character. It is a lesson for humanity. Each one is a lesson for humanity. That's why UNESCO mentioned that ICH is a peace strategy. Why a peace strategy? Because strong identities, exclusivist identities based on the love for oneself, led to conflicts as they dehumanize other human experiences. ICH takes place in collective multilateral context. At the same time that I celebrate my tradition, I celebrate the tradition of the others. I celebrate the diversity of traditions. We cannot consider ICH alone, but always in the context of multilateral relations and relations with the others. That's why international cooperation is the field where ICH realizes its full potentialities. ICH needs a methodology, how to register, how to identify, safeguard, and use ICH in education and awareness. So, identification and registration produce many scientific approaches how to register these goods, these items, these products, with ethnographic studies, interviews and surveys, with specific guidelines. Safeguarding need other kind of measures, is made after registration and identification. It may involve creating museums, cultural centers, promoting festivals and events that celebrate traditions, like here, for example. In that point, data sovereignty is a very sensitive point. How can the community keep ownership, control, have the management of the intangible cultural heritage, and especially how can the community keep the benefits, the economic, political, sociological benefits of ICH. The data sovereignty is being discussed in many contexts. Diverse proposals are on the table for sovereignty, and especially open database connected to UNESCO as the UNESCO Atlas of World Languages are a guarantee that this sovereignty could be kept. Then education and awareness. How can we include this topic in school curricula? I see here so many students. Do we have in your faculty, in your courses, discussions and uses of intangible cultural heritage? Could we have this approach in education? The fostering of community participation as a strategic point to guarantee intergenerational transmission of the knowledge, for example, is a sensitive point. Considering 2 points of view, 2 strategies for recognizing ICH. On one side, the monumentalization of masterpieces, considering that some products are really heritage, but not all of them. And on the other side, the valorization of the process of production, the valorization of artists, the permanent stimulus to the production, the building of audiences, and the circulation of goods on a permanent basis. My question, to come to the last part of the speech, is: can languages be intangible cultural heritage? If we see the history of this topic, we see that intangible cultural heritage keeps expanding, keeps including new objects, new relations, new possibilities. Till sometime in the past, people would see that languages are just the repository of cultural heritage, not languages themselves were heritage. But now this topic is expanding, and we had in Brazil one of the first experiences in the field through the National Inventory of Linguistic Diversity, created 2010. It was a very tense begin, because the Service for Heritage had many difficulties considering languages as heritage. How should it be done? There were no other experiences before that we could follow. So the idea was to take the languages that are constitutive in the history of the nation and to consider them as a heritage, to create a policy for documentation, a strategy for mobilization of language communities. It took 5 years, since 2005 till the federal decree of 2010 that has created the system. In a country like Brazil, with 180 different indigenous languages, 56 immigration languages that are already in the country 200 years or 150 years, 120 years. 22 sign languages, many of them indigenous sign languages, and 1 official sign language. Brazil has 2 official languages, Portuguese and Brazilian Sign Language, beside Afro-Brazilian languages and Creoles. But very differently from India, in Brazil, 98.5% of citizens speak only Portuguese. So this big number of languages are spoken by less than 2% of the population, and still they are there, and still they are citizens. So Brazil is the 9th most multilingual country in the world, but has 98% of monolingual population. Let's see what the federal decree says as kind of inspiration for our discussion. First is that languages must have the character of relevance for the memory, history, and identity of the groups that make up Brazilian society. So, the decree recognized that there are groups in the society. In that case, linguistic communities are there. Second, it understands the national inventory as an instrument of identification, documentation, recognition, and valorization of languages, referred to identities and memories of different groups. In that case, when we see the guidelines for recognizing languages in the National Inventory of Linguistic Diversity, it's not very far from what UNESCO has developed after for the UNESCO World Atlas of Languages. In this case, we have similar questions, similar demands. Where is the language spoken? Who are the people that speak the language? Which is the territory where the language is spoken? Which are the productions in literature, in music, in other cultural aspects in that language? How the language is present on internet and digital world? So, these questions lead to a concrete establishment of the universe of these languages. The UNESCO World Atlas of Languages that was developed after 2017. Now many countries are working in the introduction of its data. I am the focal point for the introduction of Brazilian data in the Atlas. We have the opportunity to compare the policies for ICH and the UNESCO Atlas of Worlds. Last one. What happened to the languages that are represented or are recognized as heritage? They receive a diploma, they receive a title of Brazilian cultural reference, and governors, you would call it chief ministers of states, in our case we call them governors, receive a notification of the Ministry of Culture. In your state there is a cultural reference, a language that is considered an intangible cultural heritage, and you have responsibilities for the safeguarding of this language. This involves notifying states, municipalities, and other territories about the necessity of keeping control on these languages. The first one was the first language to be recognized was the Guarani language, Guarani-Mbuá language. Guarani is another big language in South America, spoken in Paraguay, Bolivia, Brazil, Argentina, for more than 6 million people. It's a macro language. It means it has sub-languages inside, not dialects, but other smaller languages inside a macro language. That's a concept used in cases like that. The language is spoken in 6 states, in an area of 800,000 square kilometers in South Brazil, by only 11,000 people. But it was the first pilot study that conducted to the establishment of the guidelines that made possible after the recognition of other languages. Till now, we have 19 recognized languages. The work time for making the inventory of each one is 1.5 years, around 1.5 years. Every year the government establishes some fundings for recognizing new languages. Decentralized teams work in these different languages and bring the possibility of collecting the data and establishing the report. One of the main difficulties for including languages as ICH is that heritage is always selective. Not everything is heritage. Only few things are heritage. But how can we say that only some few languages can be heritage and the others not? So, languages break the structure of thinking from ICH. Languages bring an innovation, conceptual innovation for ICH, because all languages are important for their communities. All languages are fundamental for the production of culture, so we cannot let any language outside. That was the main conceptual problem for the service that worked with ICH. How to understand that every object, in that case, every language is a heritage and not only few like we have in other cases. So, because it maintains, ICH keeps expanding, new concepts, new breaks and new structures of thinking are coming to the center of discussion. Second question is, what languages represent the country? In many countries, only indigenous languages are represented as heritage. It's the case of Mexico. It's the case of Bolivia. They have communities of immigration that have contributed to the building of nation, but they are not recognized. We had a different policy in Brazil. The government decided not to create any barrier to the inclusion of Brazilian languages in the inventory, even immigration languages. So, in our case, German is the Brazilian language and is a cultural reference for Brazil. Why? Because German is spoken in Brazil since the moment of the independence. And the German-speaking people, today around 5 million, have contributed to build the nation. So, African languages that came with slavery, immigration languages that came and worked for the nation, and indigenous languages, Creoles that have been created in the country, and even border languages that keep the contact between us and our neighbors can be included. So, our policy is a policy of including all languages, and it contrasts very strongly to other countries that have a very specific idea of themselves. What means to be Indian and what should be considered Indian languages is a decision of the country. What are Mexican languages is a decision of Mexico. And so we have here many possibilities in the intangible heritage to consider the image of the nation and how the nation is capable of including or not different groups and different sociological experiences. The mother tongue of my mother is that one, Hunsrückisch. My mother was very repressed not to speak her language when she was a child. She spoke only this language till she was 6 years old. Then she went to the school, and the school has forbidden my mother to speak the language. She never more in life spoke the language, and I didn't have this language as mother tongue. But after my mother died, we could work in the program of recognizing Hunsrückisch as a Brazilian language and as intangible cultural heritage of Brazil. What delighted me very much, because it was the language my mother could not speak because the state did not recognize and repressed her experience. So, all languages as cultural reference, but identity discussions are there to be made, of course. The last question is, if all languages in the country can be ICH, how to proceed? How can we work with a so broad basis of communities and languages? So, in our experience, the methodology is the state does not take the initiative to include a language. The state does not include any language. The state waits that the community mobilize and through letters of agreement, letters of support, initiate the proceedings. So what happens? Community mobilization is necessary. And what our experience shows is that when one community begins, other communities want to begin as well. It's a kind of gamification of intangible cultural heritage. More and more communities desire to be recognized and mobilized and create channels of dialogue with the government and possibilities of financing the effort so that all languages can be included. Nagaland is a very multilingual state in a very multilingual region inside a very multilingual country. So a wonderful laboratory of possibilities for multilingualism. And I hope that ICH can help you, as it helped us, to develop new approaches for the languages, for making the repositories of languages sensitive to diverse demands related to culture and identity, and related to the discussion of heritage in general, related to other aspects of these policies in the countries. So I thank you very much for the attention, and I hope we can have many important discussions in this festival, that we can praise the artists and promote more and more the visibility and centrality of their work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for delivering such an insightful and educational keynote address. As we move on to the next order of the program, unfortunately our chief guest could not be here with us today, as he is currently on election duty in Mizoram. So now, with great honor, we invite Padma Shri awardee Shri Sentila. Oh, I'm so sorry. So we would like to have Mr. Tien Manen to come up on stage and address the audience with some words. Thank you.
Ms. Attila, the campaign, Santila, the chief organizers, Professor Dr. Gilvan Muller, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, ladies and gentlemen, and all the people present here. I come here as a member of NTEC actually, to listen or to be part of the listeners, but I've been honored to take the place of the chief guest. I hope I'm not really a very poor substitute anyway. I've got nothing much to say. It is, as I said, it's really a privilege to be part of this listeners group, because as our keynote address has mentioned about the insight, importance of what is the traditional heritage to the thing, languages and other important traditions and all that. Well, as we all know, we are living in a very, very, very fast-moving time. Digitalized world, the technological world. It's really a very crazy kind of a world. But in the midst of all the craziness, I think it's a very refreshing to know that we are now here to look into what we were, to rediscover of where we started the traditional, the heritage, and also our past life. In fact, as we were asked to say, every time an old man dies in a tribal society, which is oral, important part of his history disappears. And as Dr. Kelvin has also mentioned that unfortunately, those people who are very familiar, who are very knowledgeable about the past, about our heritage, they have become a very endangered species. And that's precisely what is happening in our Naga society. Naga society is a very small society, unfortunately, but at the same time, it's a very rich diversity society. We believe in unity in diversities, but unfortunately, some of our traditions is being very badly treated. And in fact, it is unless we really rediscover and also renew what we were, I think very soon, many of them, like the fauna, flora and fauna, disappearance of flora and fauna, even a tradition can also be really disappear from our society. Well, that reminds me that Dr. Gilvin, that since you are from Brazil, all the way from Brazil, in fact, when we were young, we were told that the Brazil is the lungs of the world because of the very rich kind of rainforest area. I only hope that, I want to convey in the name of the Naga people that to at least save the rainforest area in Brazil and also the indigenous people, that's it, because it is very exciting to say that Indians, the so-called Indians, of course, it's been a misnomer why they were called Indians. But then again, they are also becoming endangered kind of a people. So we have really, I think, very concerned about all that. Well, I can only see that it's a very, very good opportunity for especially youngsters to know what is the traditions, what is our way of life that we were, and to rediscover all these things. I think in the next few days, as mentioned here in the program, I think a lot of good, exciting kind of a program will be worked out. I only hope that all of us, I think I would rather prefer to be a good listener than a speaker here, because I think our chief, the keynote address has already mentioned all the things which is very important for next 3 days in this. I wish the conference a grand success and good learning time of our past, and also learn more about, especially Northeast people. It's a lot of people from Northeast society has come here. In fact, it's very exciting to know each other, what different society, what different sort of traditions each tribe has. In fact, I was excited to see, like, from Khasi, from all the other, the Arunachal Pradesh, from Manipur, etc. I think it will definitely be a very exciting kind of a program. So I wish the conference a grand success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tian Manan, advisor and MLA, for your words of encouragement. And now, with great honor, we invite Padma Shri awardee Shri Sentila Younger, not only our festival director, but also a distinguished textile expert and conservationist, to extend her heartfelt gratitude and deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, and I'm Sentila T. Younger, the festival director, and thank you everyone for being here this evening to the inaugural of the Listener Festival, a festival of orality. On behalf of Vimasi Foundation, Intact Nagaland chapter, Media Management Group for Literacy and Development, and financial consultant of the listener, Mr. Sanjeev Bihari. I am glad to be standing here to express my vote of thanks. I am a little disappointed that Sri Imna Along couldn't be here, but he has generously offered to host us for dinner tonight, and so we give him a big thank you. And I'd like to thank Professor Dr. Gilvan Muller de Oliveira, who has come all the way from Brazil and delivered the keynote address. Thank you, sir, and your thoughts and your deliberations have truly inspired us. We are honored here to have this evening the Commissioner's Secretary, my very dear friend Atil. Thank you for coming and for those wise words that you have spoken and inspired us all. And also to Sangeet Natak Academy and the Ministry of Culture, UNESCO, thank you for the collaborative support. I thank Dr. Dalando Kating, Vice Chancellor, the Northeast Christian University, and Dr. D. Kanadure, Vice Chancellor of St. Joseph's University, for their support and cooperation. And to Kulu Lorraine, Managing Director, Tetso College, who full-heartedly engaged with Intact Nagaland from the day we started the conversation on the listener, along with the principal, staff, volunteers, and everyone who has worked diligently in putting together the Listener Festival. A very big thank you to all of you. Finally, but importantly, I would like to express my thanks to all of you present here for taking time out of your busy schedules to grace the occasion. Your presence has added an extra spark to this event and made it even more special. As I shall look forward to your continued participation in the following days of the Listener Nagaland, I thank you once again, and in a short while we will start the concert, so kindly enjoy the music performances that will follow.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words. Now, get ready to be captivated as we dive into the vibrant world of music in our next session, the music concert. With an eclectic mix of talented artists hailing from across the enchanting northeast of India, the stage is set for an electrifying performance of folk music and folk fusion that will make your heart beat to the rhythm of this incredible region. So, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts and let's get ready to groove and celebrate the rich sounds of the Northeast. The Thuva Shelepeta, also known as the chicken dance, is a performance by the Chakisan Jujuve Cultural Club depicting the life cycle of chickens, originally choreographed by Vesvuzo Pesau. The accompanying song highlights the irony of a chicken's life, emphasizing their vulnerability as domestic fowls. The Shelepeta, a group dance from the Chakisang tribe of Nagaland, was traditionally performed during the Sekrenye festival and feasts of merit. The dance reflects a spiritual perspective on life and death, with dancers singing melodious songs and demonstrating complex footworks as they move in intricate patterns. Today, it has become a cherished part of various special occasions. Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome the Chakisang Juve Cultural Group from Unity Village. Thank you so much for such a captivating performance. And now we journey to Kongthong village with the Kongthong village ensemble from Meghalaya, where a melodious tradition makes it the whistling village of India. The mothers delve into the heartwarming practice of Jing Riwai Yaobei, where each child is endowed with a unique tune, serving as a vocal identifier throughout their life. We now invite the Kongthong Village Ensemble to grace the stage.
Good evening. Thank you, Kublai Shibun, for giving us this opportunity to be part of the Listener Nagaland, the oral festival. We are coming from a very remote village of Kongthong in East Kashmir district of Meghalaya. And actually, our main program will be tomorrow, as per the schedule. But we are thankful to the organizer, Ma'am Santila, and all the honorable guests who are here to give us an opportunity to share a bit about this unique tradition which we are having. It is the living intangible cultural heritage which we are still practicing in our day-to-day life in Kongthong, the whistling village of India in Meghalaya. Today we just introduced you as an introduction. Tomorrow we showcase the whole practice as what we are living in our day-to-day life. You know, in Khasi or in Kongthong, we call this tradition Kai Jingruai Yaobei, which is like a mother's love song. You know, a mother after giving birth for a newborn baby, because of her love and happiness, so spontaneously it comes from her deep heart to express in the form of a tunes. To everybody, it might be a lullaby, but in Kongthong is unique because each one of us, we have our own tunes, which is now is known as the whistling name or the song's name, and locally it's known as the Jingruai Yaobei. This tradition is still practicing, though there is no documentation or no records, but so many generations and generations has been inherited. And we are proud to be part of this generation for which we can showcase to the whole world. Thank you, INTAC. Thank you, the organizer of this Listener Festival. In Kongthong, we are about 723 people in the village as of now, which means that we're having 723 different tunes which has been composed by our respective mothers. So now, every one of us will have our own name. Like my name is Rothel Kongsit, but I will introduce one after another, and Ms. Shaktimon Kongsit, Beautylin Kongsit, Pansa Burom Nam Riatam, next Feeding Star Kongsit, and then next Toyan Lendra. But besides that, we have our own tunes, our own Jingruai Yaobei, which has been composed by our mother since our childhood. And these tunes we are using in our day-to-day life for communication each other. Okay, now I will start. The whole story will be tomorrow. We will showcasing you how we are using these tunes because of the great intelligence of our great ancestors. Besides our love, we took this as a mode of communication where we use in our day-to-day life, especially to communicate each other. My name is Rothel but my Jingle Bay or my song's name, or you can call as the whistling name, because we use both. We used to sing and also we used to whistle these tunes. And suppose if a mother is having 5 children, then she will compose 5 different tunes. If a mother is having 7 children, then she will compose 7 different tunes. My name is Rote, but my Jingle Bay is, or my song's name is like this. This is like the song's name only. Tomorrow I will show you the full tunes and each one of us. So we would like to share the full story tomorrow. And next I request Shaktimon and from left and next one after another to introduce the song's name only as of now.
My Jing Royal Bay is My Jing Royal Bay is
My song's name or my Jing Royal Bay is
My Jingle Bay or my song's name is.
So this is like the short version only. You want to hear the full tunes of mine and the rest I will show tomorrow? Okay. See, the full tunes of mine or my whole Jing Royal Bay is like this. This is my full tunes which has been composed for my mom because of love and happiness. But intelligently, when we are grown up, we use these tunes as a mode of communication where instead of calling somebody's name, we used to call by these songs or Jing Royal Bay or this whistling name. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll showcase to you the full story of how we are using in our day-to-day life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kong Tong. Thank you so much to the Kong Tong Village Ensemble. The whistling tradition and the heartwarming Jing Erwai Lao Bei practice truly left us enchanted and wanting more. And we look forward to tomorrow's performance by y'all. So we move forward to the next order of the program. And it's supposed to be Dr. Dilong Padung, but unfortunately he's unable to join us today due to a family emergency. So therefore, we will be moving to the next order of the program. Now we introduce Ashi and Ayin, the folk fusion duo, comprising of Yakshi and Wongyen La Yim Kyung. Their unique blend of folk and contemporary rhythms celebrates local cultures and has garnered significant attention, especially with hits like Hilun Sasa. Please welcome Ashi and Ayin.
check. Hello, check, test, check.
Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, mic test.
Haji Ya abang cumbu You ayam nelim bishang Belum hati isau bishang Got terima Isi selezalah Yes, I rock to my creature now. I want to you and the mission.
Check. Okay. Thank you, Ashi and Yin, for your captivating performance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for an electrifying finale as we present the dynamic duo, Mr. Tiamarin Iyer and Miss Linen Jamir. Tiamarin Iyer, the celebrated singer-songwriter from Nagaland, abandoned a government career to pursue his musical passion, giving us hit songs like Itaya Nuku. Joining him is Linen Jamir, the musical prodigy from Ungma village, who started her extraordinary journey at the tender age of 3, under the guidance of her father, the frontman of Teroto Naro. Together, they will take us on an unforgettable musical ride with their Ao Naga fusion song, promising to leave us spellbound. So ladies and gentlemen, Tiamarin Iyer and Linen Jamir.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. This is a lullaby in Ao. Our forefathers used to carry their young ones in the back and used to sing the song. This is an improvised one, a fusion one.
Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check.
Lata, oh lata, inamalora. Oh, chi uzu sang nui plata per sang long I meram lok ser tiang nori akat asmer Itang chi uzu sang nui plata per sang long I meram lok ser tiang nori akat asmer Now Lennon will take over the stage.
Sedang pula ayah jemput Allah sedang niu jin sedang hidang jikama imlan imlan satu kemudian pun nimang kelamimlah ketami arung kemulung syah yasan zucema tangan yang luk serma ngetemci kedaya lecah. Nay takır kımdır varolsun kuşiyang Şisa kagera şisa şıkmang Zımdır valla şiparung he Dınayang water anaya inyakang Oh, itaya aunula dayuang Sundol zenong menerla tang siang Ninam leimer demulung jangki Dalui upulai asyik Tumabang tembang arah Yasyidam nelasar asan desatang
Wasn't that such a beautiful performance by Mr. Tiamarin Iyer and Linen Jamir? So I would like you all to give another round of applause to all the performers for today. I think they did a fabulous job. So ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains on this remarkable evening, I want to express our deepest gratitude to our honorable guest, esteemed panelist, and incredibly talented artist who have graced us with their captivating performances. You, our dedicated organizers, have worked tirelessly to make this event an astounding success. And to our wonderful audience, your energy and enthusiasm have made this gathering an unforgettable celebration of our cultural heritage. And with hearts full of accomplishment, we eagerly anticipate the dawn of tomorrow's session, where we'll once again come together to rejoice in the power of storytelling. So as the stars twinkle overhead and you find solace in your dreams, rest well, for tomorrow promises yet another day of exciting exploration and cultural enrichment. Good night, and we can't wait to see you all once more as we continue this incredible journey. Thank you very much.